YouTube, what's up? So big changes happening over here. It's been a while since I've let you guys know what's been going on, but a lot has changed. First things first, new venue. I just moved into my new apartment, so yeah, everything's kind of getting settled. You know, that would explain why the tank's kind of in shambles, as you guys can see here. So what's going on? What changes are happening? What's changed with the tank since you last saw it? And what's with the new tank that you just saw a second ago? Well, I'm going to get into all that. First and foremost, the tank you're staring at now is still the 20-gallon tank. The light is not hanging right now, obviously, as you guys can see, because I'm trying to work out a way to drill up there without, you know, damaging anything, and I want to clear it with my landlord first and everything. So right now I just have a TV mounting kit holding the light up for now, and it's doing a good job. You know, it's keeping the algae and the coral alive and everything. So hey, it's serving its purpose. But yeah, the Gorgonian you guys see here, I actually picked that up for my new tank. He's in here right now while, you know, the new tank's being set up, because down here where my other animals are being kept, the non-photosynthetic animals, they don't need light, obviously. So I moved him up here just to keep him alive for the time being, but he's not going to stay there because it looks pretty ridiculous. But yeah, and you know, the tank's kind of sloppy right now just because I just kind of threw everything together. You know, took everything out of the cooler. It was a 3-hour drive from where I was previously, so I had everything in coolers, and I just wanted to get everything out and keep it alive. But I'm going to kind of do some rearranging, you know, get it looking nice again. But yeah, the mantis just went into his little hideout. He moved this clump of zinnia, like kind of like a door. Like he slides it out of the way when he comes out, and then when he goes back in, he slides it back in front. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, the tank. Oh my God, guys, this tank! I can't even tell you how much I'm just totally in love with this tank. You know, the damsel is just gorgeous, and just everything. You know, the torch is knocked over right now, but everything looks good. Everything is just thriving, and really I don't have to do too much maintenance. Every once in a while I go in and wipe the glass, and maybe once a month I'll do a 5-gallon water change. But between the macroalgae, the decent sized skimmer, and the single fish and the mantis shrimp, and the good quality live rock, I mean, there's just not you know, there's not a whole lot to do. I top the tank off every once in a while. The next thing I probably will be getting for this tank will be a auto top off. Of course, I'll be going with the Tunze Osmolator Nano, and then I'll just put, you know, a 5-gallon jug on the side and just keep it that way, because, you know, I'm really not a fan of having to constantly, you know, I want to be able to go on vacation for a week or two without worrying that my tank is gonna, the salinity is gonna shoot up, skyrocket, and I'm gonna lose everything. So yeah, that's what my next move is. But yeah, loving this tank, man. I really am loving this whole, just keeping macroalgae. Macroalgae grows fast. It looks nice, despite popular belief. You know, it looks nice, it grows fast, it serves a purpose, and it's really kind of difficult to kill. I found. I didn't have great luck with the mermaid's brush, but you know, whatever. It wasn't my favorite anyway. I still have the Halimita, the shaving brush, I'm sorry, the shaving brush is what I just told you died. The mermaid's fan is over there in the corner. I have to relocate that. The dragon's breath. The purple ball algae, I'm not sure the exact name of it. It looks like it reminds me of the blue octodes, I believe is what it's called, but it's more of a purplish hue. My mantis, for whatever reason, that thing was thriving, and my mantis one day decided to shred the thing. So now you know, there's a little bits of it everywhere on the glass, and just stuck to the power head and everywhere else. So that, you know, looks nice. I think there's something very natural about the look of a macroalgae dominated tank. I'm not a huge fan, I think I've said this before, I'm not a huge fan of the candy colored SPS tanks, you know, that kind of sterile look with the bare bottom tank and the, you know, a few fish swimming around and then just a whole bunch of neon colored sticks. That's just not really my thing. No offense to you guys that are into that, but me personally, I like kind of a dirtier, sloppy looking tank, for lack of a better term, because really if you do go out and you scuba dive, or you go out and snorkel and you actually take a look at nature and how it does its thing out in the wild, it's not terribly clean. Everything's not positioned perfectly. There's stuff knocked over, there's stuff overgrowing other stuff, there's just, you know, there's life everywhere, and that's why I'm not one of those guys that's going in there trying to eradicate bristleworms. Or I've heard of some people actually trying to knock out their copepod and amphipod population, mainly amphipods, I believe. But that just to me doesn't make much sense. Whatever, not my thing. But yeah, there's the 20 gallon. Again, I'm loving this tank. I'll give you a quick look from the left. And guys, keep in mind I will be getting a better camera. This camera just does not do tanks in general justice, because it just makes it look so blue when it's really not. I mean, if you were to look at this tank, it would look, it's mainly white, and then you just see this neon, almost blindingly blue damselfish darting around. So yeah, there's the 20 gallon. Now moving down here is the and this is just a storage container. Originally they were in a styrofoam cooler. Unfortunately it sprung a leak, so we had to quickly dump out the storage container and put them in here. I didn't even have time to really check if this was fish safe, but it appears to be. I'm not gonna, I hope not to jinx myself, but there's the Percula clown, you guys know. I actually worked at a local fish store. I don't know if I told you guys that, but for several months my eel and my clownfish, they actually lived in one of the coral runways there. Because again, I don't know if I went into this either, but I actually wiped out my 75 gallon holding tank by a stupid bonehead move. I put way too much. I think it was like 8 times the amount of Nopox. Nopox, as you guys can hopefully see, not really, but it's kind of like this new magic drug that everybody's been raving about, how it can naturally wipe out nitrates. So I was dying to use it, and I was dying to reduce the amount of maintenance I had to do on that holding tank, and unfortunately I ended up kind of wiping out my tank in the process. Luckily I saved my clownfish before I left for work, and then I got a call from my mom telling me my eel wasn't breathing. So my boss is so understanding about it. He actually let me drive 45 minutes home, grab my eel. I came in there, and to make it long story short, the tank was just cloudy. It smelled like dead fish. As I'm rescuing my eel, who was like half alive, I see the damsel and the Springer Idati back, just dead, and very sad sight. I did manage to rescue most of the corals somehow, but the live rock I sold off for the most part, and the rest I just have lying around. I'm not going to use any of it on my new tanks. Not that I don't trust it, because obviously I sold it to people, but I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to start with fresh, new live rock and just see how it does. Anyways, I have the Percula clown. I have my zebra moray down there. I wish you guys could see here, but you really probably can't at all. I just have a hang-on-back filter that I had running on the 20 gallon for several months while it's seeded. I had to just filter sponge in there, kind of collecting biological filtration. So that's in there. The PVC pipe for my eel to hide it, and I have that little pottery, which you can't even see. But yeah, so I have the Percula clown, the moray eel, a little hermit crab that hitchhiked on one of the Gorgonians, a camo hariblenny, which is just an amazing fish. If any of you guys can get your hands on a tank-bred camo hariblenny from ORA, I highly recommend them. Beautiful fish, and you really, before they were being aquacultured, they were a very expensive and a very rare fish. So to me that's pretty cool. It wasn't even a year ago that they were a very kind of sought after fish. So yeah, I have one of them in here, tank bred like I said, and then I have a blood red fire shrimp, which also passed away unfortunately in my 75 gallon wipeout, but I bought a new one. This one's pretty cool. Again, you guys can't see him, but he's got like more white spots on him than most blood shrimps I've seen, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I've got two bubblers on here, just keeping them alive. They're only going to be in here for maybe another week or so while the new tank gets set up. Now, let's check out the new tank. Here is the new 60 gallon cube. Yeah, so it's just a deep blue professional 24 by 24 by 24 tank, drilled reef-fed tank. So basically what I did was I pretty much thought of the biggest tank I could do without having a big tank. I kind of wanted to cheat my way into being able to keep my eel and get a decent amount of fish and coral. So I found this 60 gallon cube and it was just perfect. I do live in a studio now, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to overtake the entire apartment. In reality, looking at it now, I probably could have kept the 120, but you know, whatever. I didn't want to be overwhelmed by maintenance either. So yeah, I have the 60 gallon cube. You guys can't really see. Let me go open the window real quick, just to let some air or some light in. There you go, much better. But yeah, I have the Jaybo WP25 I went with for this tank. The Jaybos I think are impressive in how much water flow they produce, but they're very unreliable. I had the two WP40s that both died around the same time on my 120. So you could say it was stupid of me to buy another one, but I think the price, I think I paid $50 for this thing. $50 for another power head would have probably been a Coralaya Evolution, which is what I have on the 20 gallon, which in my opinion would not have been anywhere close to enough for this tank. So it's dirt cheap, and you know, so if it's cheap to replace. If I can afford a Vortec, I would go with that, but that's really not in the budget right now. So that's just mixing the salt around. I mixed this water a couple days ago. I'm just waiting on the some bolt cutters to come in the mail so that I can rearrange some tubing, some plumbing, and then I'll put the live rock in. And the live rock I'm actually getting, I'll do a whole video on, because it's very, very unique live rock that I haven't seen for years. So I'm going to go into a whole video on that. Just amazing live rock. But yeah. Now some of the challenges I found with setting this tank up and just getting putting the tank together and collecting all the equipment that I needed, it was very difficult to find a sump that would fit under this in this stand, you know, the 24 by 24. But not only fit under the stand, but also fit my size skimmer. I had that Super Reef Octopus skimmer. I think it's a 2000 internal. It was just very difficult. I found the High Doors, I believe it was, or the E-Shops it might have been. Yeah, High Door E-Shops. Correct me, I'm not totally sure on that. One of the two. And they have, I want to say it's the Refugium. It has Refugium in the name, I believe. And usually in the images you have mangroves sprouting out of one section of it. I almost went with that. Unfortunately, I found out that the skimmer could not fit in the chamber that it had designated for skimmers, or any of the chambers in that sump for that matter. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge fan of just a tank as a sump. I'm really not into spending $200, $300 on the acrylic box just because it has some baffles in it, and you know, I can do that myself. I could, if I really wanted to, I could make the acrylic myself, or I could just buy one of those cheap tank dividers from PetSmart or Petco and just slide it in that way. So it's kind of a gimmick, I think. I've definitely fallen into it though, don't get me wrong. I went with the Supreme Classic MagDrive 7. I'm a huge fan of these pumps. For all my tanks, I've always used the Supreme Classic MagDrives. I think they're reliable, they're pretty quiet, and you know, they look pretty nice, and they're pretty compact as well. So, and I'm more of a fan of internal pumps. I don't know. Right now, that's kind of the way I'm going. I might change that in the years coming, but who knows. So yeah, as far as what did I use for this sump, this is actually a 28 gallon rimless deep blue professional tank. It's 20 by 20 by 16 tall. I really lucked out in finding this tank. I was just freaking out trying to find some kind of sump to use. It was either this or a 10 gallon, and I went on to Deep Blue because I'm a big fan of theirs, their website, and their newest tank at the time was a 28 gallon tank, the 20 by 20 by 16, and I couldn't believe it. So I immediately had my local fish store order one in for me. They were really nice about it. I think I paid about $130 for this. So again, 28 gallon sump, that's nice looking for $130 is not bad. The same sort of tank, had it been acrylic with baffles and, you know, things like that, and a fancy brand name stuck to the corner of it, probably would have been triple that. So yeah, I'm really loving it though. The stand is custom. I really didn't want to deal with that fiberboard crap again, so yeah, I'm really loving it. I'm going to do a whole video on the 60 gallon, and the next video I'll be doing is the live rock. But thanks for watching, guys. Like it if you like it, leave a comment if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't. If you have, I really do appreciate it. But thanks, guys. Take it easy.